So this is one way to protect yourself from injuries or ailments like frozen shoulder. And this also refers back to a previous video I did where I talked about how every large motion that we do with our body is comprised of much smaller motions. Every little joint may be a component of the whole motion. So in a previous video I talked about how you can protect your wrists if you stretch the tissues above and below the wrist, the palms and the forearm. Today I want to focus a little bit on the shoulder. And here's the thing that tends to happen, it's a little misconception, is that, and I'm going to try to come up pretty close so you can see what's going on. So a lot of us move our arm. I'm going to put my arm behind my back so you can see how my shoulder blade is really kind of sticking up out of the back there. And it's not a very stable place for the shoulder right now. But a lot of us move our arm by moving this whole shoulder girdle, moving the whole shoulder blade along with the back and everything else with it. And so that might occur when we're reaching up. I might be bringing my shoulder to my ear. When I'm reaching forward, the whole shoulder is forward, or the whole shoulder blade reaches back. But the misconception, or the thing not often recognized, is that when I'm moving the entire shoulder girdle, I'm doing very little motion in the actual shoulder joint, the glenohumeral joint here, where the arm bone connects into the torso. And if that muscle, and if that joint is not moving very much, it tends to tighten. The fascia will tighten, the muscles get shorter, and eventually it can lead to things like frozen shoulder. So some of it is habit, and some of it is just the programming of how you use your arm. So this is the interesting exploration and exercise that you can play with. So if I have my shoulder blade here, I'm going to take one hand, I'm going to take my left hand, and I'm going to try to find that ridge of the shoulder blade. Now, I know when it's really sticking up like that, it's not very stable. But, so I'm going to try to find the spot where this shoulder blade really flattens out. So most of the time, it's when the shoulder blade widens away from the spine, protracts, and gets pretty flat into the back. And so I want to hold on to that bone there. I want to put my fingers into that bone. And then I'm going to release this right arm. And here's the game. We're going to take the arm forward. I'll go this way so you can see it better. And I'm going to start to practice small motions of the arm with no motion here. And I'm going to see if I can keep my shoulder blade as still as possible, which requires that the joint of the shoulder here actually does the motion, not the whole shoulder girdle. And then you can start to, over time, as you play with that, you can start to extend the arm into bigger circles, or any direction you want to go. It doesn't have to be in a circle, but circles are nice because you can really measure how far you can go. And it takes a lot of brain work. It's a little neuromuscular reprogramming where you really have to concentrate on keeping your shoulder blade as still as possible. Now another one you can do that's a little simpler is you can just hold the side of your shoulder and put your elbow right into your side and just start to find a rotation of your arm out and in like this. But once again, you don't want the shoulder itself, the shoulder girdle itself, to be pulling backwards and forwards or up and down. You want to try to keep the shoulder completely still as you rotate the bone, the upper arm bone in the shoulder joint. And then you might alternate between this and then reaching forward, hold the shoulder blade, and try to find some motion. And this is really just trying to redevelop a new habit where you're really using your actual shoulder joint instead of the entire shoulder girdle. And that can start to open up that shoulder joint. It'll create more mobility. It'll create more stability. That's going to help you, A, not get ailments like frozen shoulder, but B, it can also help you find the stability in your arms if you want to do stuff like hanging or crawling on the floor, or any time you have to even lift anything up off the ground. So play with that. Play with keeping your shoulder blade really still while you move your arm, and see how that works for you. All right, have a great week. I'll see you next time.